Hey guys, I made one last trip to that old TV and radio repair shop, this time with flashlights, and I did a little bit better this time. I got more of the Rider television service manuals. Don't have a complete set because they just weren't all there. There were some duplicates and such, but I did pretty well, I think. I also found some Sam's PhotoFax, which is, I guess, a competitor to Rider. And there's some interesting stuff in here, I think. I've got some more inside that weren't bound up, they were just lying around loose. Also, I found some safety glass. This one is especially large. Thinking maybe 19-inch. This would have gone in front of the picture tube, so in case the picture tube shattered, this safety glass would protect you from getting hit by any flying glass. Some smaller ones as well. Here you can actually really see where the mask was on the CRT because it's very dark on the top and bottom. And in here I've got some bezels, like from the front of TVs for rectangular sets. Like so. I don't have any use for any of these, but I'll post online. I'll give them away for free if anybody's interested and can pick them up locally. I just wanted to save this stuff before the building got condemned. I also found some odds and ends, bits of glasses. I think they call these Fresnel lenses. And more tubes, and more tubes. I found an area where they were in better condition, and a lot of them were still in the original boxes. So I got a whole bunch more to go through here. And I definitely noticed there's some goodies in here, so some tubes I can use, like the 6SL7. It's amazing how much better a little bit of light helps. And I found some CRTs. This is a 5BP1. These are green phosphor, would have been used in an oscilloscope. Got some more of those inside. And more tubes and some vintage, interesting glasses. And some of these are the older tubes. I found a lot more of the older tubes with the old style bases. No really old tubes, no globe tubes, and no really valuable tubes like 45s or 80s or anything like that. Oh, hey, what do you know? There's another eye tube right on top. All right. Put that in my pocket for safekeeping. And inside the shop itself, there wasn't a whole lot left, but I found some interesting odds and ends, like this gigantic resistor. This would have been used in a transmitter. And just for fun, just because it looks kind of fun, I think it's a gigantic 200 amp fuse. This is some type of huge reflective light bulb, I think. This projection, wow, it's a 1,000-watt light bulb. Looks like the reflector on the back cracked a bit, but maybe it was silver plated at some point. Oh, that was kind of a neat thing. It still has the ceramic base and all that. Also got a whole bunch of test leads. So maybe next time I need to make one for a piece of test lead, but I won't have to make one from scratch. I can run some new wiring into these. There's another oddball giant tube of some sort. C3R14, not sure what that is. This got me excited for a moment. This was once before I found an old globe tube like this with the base missing, and I was able to solder one on and it tests like new. But this one of the leads seems to be broken off, and I think it's gassy as well. I'm not sure. The gutter still looks kind of shiny in its spots. That other tube I repaired was a 45. I think this might be a Type 81. I'm not really sure. There might actually only be 3 active elements in this tube. I did a little more research on it. Couldn't find a part number anywhere. But I don't think it's a 45 or a Type 50, which are quite valuable these days. So the rest of this stuff was just odds and ends I found digging through junk bins inside the shop. Found one nice old meter. Looks like it was originally 0 to 300 volts, and somebody penciled in and added a couple zeros, so they probably put a voltage divider on there to make it go to 3,000 volts. Let's see what else. Got a bunch of high voltage capacitors, like these guys, and these. They call these doorknob capacitors. Most vintage sets had these to filter the high voltage going to the picture tube, so I definitely might have a use for these in some of my sets, because occasionally they do go bad. Got a bunch more crystals too. Some of them are kind of interesting packaging, like this guy. Just frequency control, and I think some of these are actually crystal ovens, where they would actually heat up the crystal to keep it at a constant temperature. Yeah, like this guy. This crystal unit. Or maybe it's just in a tube packaging, I'm not sure. But definitely a better mix than that last box I brought home where every single crystal was the same value. I'll sort through all these, see exactly what I've got. Yeah, otherwise, got a whole bunch of screws and nuts and bolts and grommets and such. Oh, and I found an ancient ice pick. This is an old way of doing a phone number. PHONE 56174 Ice Service Inc. Still pretty sharp too, so could defend myself with that in a pinch, I suppose. Alright, well, it is freezing out here, so I'm going to go inside and show you some more of what I picked up. I'm out of my back porch now, where I put a few more of the things I picked up. Here's a box full of potentiometers and rheostats. Most appear to be used, but they seem to be in good condition. A lot of them are this high-quality Allen Bradley Type J, which I believe is military grade. Unfortunately, a lot of them were not meant to have a knob attached. They were meant for fine-tuning, so they use a screwdriver to adjust them. But some are definitely meant to have a knob, attached to them. I'll dig through these all, but I'm sure there's some goodies in there. Got some more tubes up here. Again, these were the nicer ones that were still in the boxes and didn't get all wet and stepped on and such. Here's another scope CRT. Not sure what this type is. I couldn't find a number on it anywhere. It might have gotten washed off. Something you gotta be careful with, especially if you use strong modern cleaners, is you can wipe the numbers right off the tube and then you have a very hard time ever using it. Now, one of the last things I saw, so we were just about to leave. Oh, I was there with a friend of mine who really helped me out sorting through and carrying all this stuff. Anyways, as we were about to leave, we looked under one shelf off in a corner and found 3 picture tubes. I was really excited to see this guy, which is a 10BP4, but unfortunately when I tested it, it's bad. It's gassy. You can tell that because after about a minute of the filament warming up, it gets all blue and purple inside the neck here, which means oxygen has gotten inside of here. So until somebody starts rebuilding picture tubes again, there's no way I can use this in anything. So I'll hang on to it for a while, but eventually I may just have to give it away. Maybe somebody can make a lamp out of it or something. Now on the positive side, the 2 17-inch guys test good. One of them, this one, tests like it's brand new. The other one, not quite as good, but still pretty good. Oh, and I don't have any of these just sitting on the bare floor. There are pads under these. You don't want to scratch up the faces of these. And they are both type 17 AVP4, which none of my sets use. This is a little bit newer. It's probably like 52, 53, something like that. Maybe a little bit later. So maybe I'll just end up selling these or trading these. Oh, while I'm out here, this is a Philco 38.4 cabinet that I'm giving away. If anybody can make their way to Chicago, this cabinet is yours. Otherwise, it's going to end up in the scrap heap eventually. So if you're interested, leave me a comment or a personal message on YouTube. I'm back inside now and it's much more comfortable. It's supposed to be going down negative tonight, so best to stay inside and keep warm. Here's the flybacks I found. Unfortunately, they're in pretty crummy condition. Some of them the leads are really broken off badly, like on this guy. Maybe one or two of these can be salvaged. Like this one doesn't look so bad, but I'm not sure what these are from. Some of them don't have clear part numbers, so I think I'll just post some pictures online if anybody's interested. They can get a hold of me. Here's yet more tubes, and these are the older ones. I found a whole cache of these. I cleaned up a bunch of them. Unfortunately, they're pretty much all either like 57s, 58s, 77s, 75s, 78s. So not a whole wide variety there, and I don't think I have any radios that actually use any of these. All my radios are either older or newer. I think these are tubes from like 33 to 35, 36, somewhere thereabouts. Whereas all my radios are from like 30, 31, or post 1937 or 36. At any rate, I'll clean them up and test them, and I'll keep the good ones. Also found 4 of these Majestic zinc-coated tubes, which was kind of a novel idea. Instead of putting a metal shield around the tube, they just sprayed zinc right onto the glass tube itself for shielding. Unfortunately, these didn't hold up well to that damp environment in the basement, and they've kind of corroded, and some of the zinc is flaked off. So I don't know. I'll give a brief attempt at cleaning these and test them, and maybe somebody can get some use out of them. Still have a few more of these oldie types to test. Here's one more scope CRT I picked up, which is really cool looking, I think. It's a Dumont 5ARP1. It's cool because this is from an early dual trace scope. You see there are 2 completely independent electron guns in here, and then separate deflection plates. That's what all these pins on this ring around here are for, the deflection plates. They did that to minimize capacitance as much as possible, so the deflection plates are right on the other side of that glass, so the signals would come in here and go right into the tube, instead of having to go through the base and then travel down here and get to the deflection plates. Unfortunately, I don't think it's any good, because the getters, they're barely visible. The getter is a piece of a splotch of reactive metal that will scrub out any remaining air molecules inside there, and when they turn white or disappear, that usually is a good sign that air has gotten inside the tube. On the other hand, I don't exactly have anything that would use this, and it's a nice display piece, so I've cleaned it up real nice. I'll put it on a shelf or something for display. And here's a bag full of loose SAMS manuals. These I found in the basement. They were not bound, but these seem to be the older ones. Like this Firestone set. I think that was an early projection set. Mac Airline. So these will be fun to go through. There's an Arvin. Brunswick. Coronado. It's crazy, all these brand names you guys have probably never even heard of, but Wilcox Gay. Back in the early 50s, it was an explosion of TV companies, most of which didn't last too long. Westinghouse. I think one of these is on sale on eBay right now in Ohio for about $100. So if you want, guys, hop onto eBay and search for Westinghouse, Antique TV, or some such. I think you'll find it. Firestone, and so on and so forth. Raytheon, DeWalt. So although I don't have any of these TVs, it's kind of cool to collect these and you can see what all used to be available back in the day. I just tried testing at iTube. I found out in the garage. It was a Ward Super Airline 6-on-5. Unfortunately, as soon as I put it in the tester, it went up in smoke. Then you can see the white ring around the inside. Air must have gotten inside this tube and the filament just fried out. But I found another one, another 6-on-5. This is an RCA Radiotron, and it tests okay. Not super bright, but certainly usable. So you win some, you lose some. I also found these two strange-looking tubes mixed in with all those 57s and 78s and 75s I was just showing you. The elements looked odd to me. I thought these might be gas regulator tubes at first, but no. It turns out they're gas thriatrons. There's a 2051 and this is a 084, I think. I had to look up what these are, and it turns out that I actually do need one of these, but not these models. I need a 2A4G for my Philco mystery control chassis that works in the receiver, I guess, to control the stepper motor when it receives impulses from the remote control to control the tuning motor and whatnot. So maybe I've got one in the mix. Oh, and finally, there was some type of old cast iron, I think a slide projector out in the backyard. It was just too big and rusty for me to take, but I did find this cool 500 watt bulb inside of it and brought it home. So I think that's it for now. Hope I didn't bore you guys too much showing you all this stuff I found, but I thought something you might find interesting.